Gratitude is defined as the quality or feeling of being grateful or thankful. In this segment of today's Devoted, we want to focus on what it means to show gratitude or exhibiting the attitude of thankfulness. The prophet Jeremiah wrote this in Jeremiah 17, verse 9. The heart is deceitful above all things and desperately sick. Who can understand it? What God points out through Jeremiah is our heart, because of the corruption of sin, is deceitful, which means it's tough or crafty, or literally it's on uneven ground and desperately sick. Therefore, our default is selfishness and self-pleasure. Even though we want to be thankful and show gratitude, the heart's deceit and sickness overrides our want and a desire to be thankful. See, for the Hebrew, the heart was the center of all life. As in our bodies, the heart pumps blood to every part of us. As the heart goes, so the rest of our body. And so if our heart is deceitful, it then controls our very mind. If our heart is deceitful and desperately sick, then the problem is with our mind understanding what we should and be doing with our lives. For example, kids at Christmas, how easily we see this. It easily can get very ugly. A time at Christmas should be a time of thanksgiving and celebration. But sometimes when toys and presents get involved, one thing after another, it can lead to a time of, I want this, I want what my sister or brother has. And so instead of being thankful, it can turn into a time where we want more and more and more. We can look at kids and maybe poke fun of that. But we as adults, we have just learned to cover up our unthankfulness very, very easily. See, a passage that has been encouraging and convicting to me lately, that has helped me with my gratitude and thankfulness, is Psalm 56. Verses 10 to 13 says this: In God, whose word I praise, in the Lord, whose word I praise, in God I trust, I shall not be afraid. What can man do to me? I must perform my vows to you, O God. I'll render thank offerings to you. For you have delivered my soul from death, yes, my feet from falling, that I may walk before God in the light of life. To understand this psalm, you've got to understand the background of this psalm. David writes this psalm in the midst of being chased by Saul's men. He's on the run. He's tired. He's hungry. He actually has no weapons and has to ask someone to give him a weapon to defend himself. He runs to the city of Gath, which is the home of the man who he defeated, Goliath. And in the midst of his struggle, what does he do? He thanks God. He says, For you have delivered my soul from death. Yes, my feet from falling, that I may walk before God in the light of life. I render my thanksgivings, my offerings to you, God, because I know that you have delivered me, and I know that you will continue to deliver me. How has this convicted me? Well, it's convicted me this way. It's easy to be thankful when things are going well, when life seems to be going okay and things are going your way. It's also easy to be thankful after the fact, when we do receive those things and we do see them tangibly. But the thing that's convicted me is what happens when you're waiting for God? What happens when you're waiting for God to answer that prayer? You're kind of in limbo. You're not sure what's going to happen. Well, God has helped me and convicted me that I need to give thanks in advance, that I need to look forward to how God is going to answer my prayer. I see that in my own life with my own church and the program we run. We're looking for a facility, and I sometimes get anxious and afraid. But God has convicted me through this that I need to thank God in advance and how He's already answered this prayer of mine and the people who come to my church. Well, how do we apply this to our lives? Well, what we need to do is we need to start thanking God now for how He is going to answer our prayers. You may be out there today and you may struggle with bitterness or anger over things that have happened. Your heart may be far from God right now. Well, I pray that you are reminded that the quality of feeling of being grateful or thankful is a heart that God, our Father, requires from us. We can't do it on our own strength. We need to rely upon the grace and mercy of Christ to help us. And as a result, then we too can be thankful, just like David. And in fact, just like Jesus. Before He died on the cross, He thanked God that He was going to deliver His people, that He was going to forgive their sin and renew that life in them. So today, I pray that your hearts will be turned from yourself, from that self-centeredness, and turn to a God who provides so much that we can be thankful for.